The secret in Amara's pot. Some secrets are buried so deep, even the earth whispers warnings to those who dig too close. The smoke rose from the small wooden shack every morning at exactly 5 o'clock. Nobody in Ogidi village knew what made Amara's food different, but everyone knew they couldn't stay away. Amara was 23 years old, thin as a bamboo stick, with eyes that seemed to carry stories she never told. She owned nothing. Her restaurant was 4 wooden benches under a leaking roof. Her pots were borrowed, and her clothes were the same 2 wrappers she rotated every week. Yet every single day, before the sun fully climbed the sky, a line of people stretched from her shack all the way to the village square. "I don't understand it," old Papa Emeka said to his friend one morning, wiping his mouth with the back of his hand. "My wife cooks the same jollof rice, same tomatoes, same rice, same oil, but this," he pointed at his empty plate, "this tastes like my grandmother's love came back from the grave." His friend nodded, already licking his fingers. "My wife says the girl must be using something. Nobody cooks like this naturally." And that was the problem. Amara had appeared in Ogidi village on a rainy Thursday, carrying nothing but a small bag and secrets in her eyes. She knocked on Mama Ngozi's door, the oldest woman in the village, and asked for work. "I can cook," Amara said quietly. "Just give me a chance." Mama Ngozi, who had a soft heart despite her sharp tongue, let the girl stay in the boys' quarters behind her house. "You can use my old pots and sell food by the roadside. Whatever money you make, we split it half." But Mama Ngozi never got her half, because after the first day Amara started selling, the old woman couldn't bring herself to collect money from someone who attracted customers like bees to honey. On that first day, Amara made simple fried yam and pepper sauce, just 10 pieces. By noon, those 10 pieces were gone, and 15 people were asking when she would cook again. By the end of the first week, Amara had 50 customers daily. By the end of the first month, people were coming from neighboring villages walking 2 hours just to taste her food. "What do you put in your food?" the women started asking. Amara would smile softly and say, "Just love, ma." But her eyes never smiled with her mouth. Chidinma watched all of this from her mother's provision store across the road. She was beautiful, the kind of beauty that made men stumble over their words and walk into poles. She was educated too, having finished secondary school in the city before returning to the village, and she was angry. "Look at them," Chidinma hissed to her friend Obiageli, watching a group of men crowd around Amara's shack, laughing and talking loudly. "My husband spent 3 hours there yesterday. 3 hours, eating and laughing with that skinny rat. All the men are always there, even my own husband. He comes home smelling like her pepper soup, talking about how delicious it was." She shook her head bitterly. "Meanwhile, I cooked the same soup at home and he barely touched it." The other women in the village felt the same way. Their husbands stopped eating at home, their sons spent their pocket money at Amara's shack, even their fathers, old men who complained about everything, suddenly had nothing but praise for that girl's cooking. "She's using something," Mama Okoye declared at the women's meeting. "No woman cooks that well. It's impossible. She must be putting juju in the food. Or using her body to attract the men," another woman suggested. But everyone who watched Amara could see that wasn't true. The girl barely looked up when she served food. She never flirted, never laughed loudly, never even made eye contact with the men. She just cooked in her corner, stirring her pot with a wooden spoon, her lips moving silently like she was praying or talking to someone no one could see. And that made it even more suspicious. "I'll open my own restaurant," Chidinma announced one morning. "And I'll show everyone that there's nothing special about that girl." Her mother, a wealthy widow who owned half the shops in the village, gave her daughter money to build a proper restaurant. Not a shack,
but a real building with chairs, tables, and even a fan powered by a generator. Chidinma hired 2 girls to help her cook and painted a big sign, Chidinma's Kitchen, the best food in Ogidi. The opening day was on a Saturday. Chidinma woke up at 4 a.m., put on her best dress, and cooked enough jollof rice to feed 100 people. She made fried chicken, moi moi, plantain, and even bought soft drinks to sell. By 8 a.m., only 5 people had come. By noon, 7. By evening, Chidinma sat in her empty restaurant, staring at pots of food that nobody wanted, while across the road, Amara's line stretched longer than ever. "This is witchcraft," Chidinma screamed, throwing a plate against the wall. "There's no other explanation." For 1 full week, she tried everything. She reduced her prices, she gave free samples, she sent the girls to stand by the roadside and invite people in. Nothing worked. People would politely take the free samples, nod kindly, and then walk straight to Amara's shack. On the 8th day, Chidinma closed her restaurant and began to plan something darker. "That girl must be destroyed," Chidinma told Obiageli in the middle of the night. They sat in Chidinma's room, drinking palm wine and plotting. "But how?" Obiageli asked. "Everyone loves her." "Not for long." Chidinma's eyes gleamed with malice. "Tomorrow, I'll go to Dibia Ugu. He will give me something to put in her food. Something that will make people sick. Then everyone will know she's a witch." Dibia Ugu was the village medicine man, feared and respected for his powerful charms. Chidinma went to him before dawn, carrying a fat chicken and some money wrapped in cloth. "I need something," she whispered. "Something to destroy a girl's business." The old man's eyes narrowed. "Why?" "She's taking what belongs to me." Dibia Ugu prepared a small black powder in a leather pouch. "Put this in her food when she's not looking. Everyone who eats it will have terrible stomach ache. They will think she poisoned them." Chidinma smiled. That afternoon, she went to Amara's shack, pretending to be friendly. "Sister Amara," she called out sweetly, "I've been so foolish competing with you. Your food is truly the best. Can I buy some rice?" Amara looked at her carefully, those knowing eyes seeming to see straight through Chidinma's fake smile, but she nodded and served her a plate. While Amara turned to serve another customer, Chidinma moved quickly. She opened the big pot of jollof rice and poured the black powder inside, stirring it with her hand. But then, something strange happened. The powder dissolved into the rice, yes, but the rice began to glow with a faint golden light, so faint that Chidinma thought she was seeing things. She blinked and the light was gone. Shaking her head, she paid for her food and left quickly. That evening, over 60 people ate from that pot of rice, and nothing happened. Not a single stomach ache, not one complaint. In fact, people said the rice tasted even better than usual. Chidinma couldn't believe it. "The medicine man cheated me," she raged. But Dibia Ugu was just as confused when she confronted him. "That powder should have worked," he muttered, scratching his grey beard. Unless she's protected by something stronger than my medicine." Getting closer. Chidinma changed her strategy. "If I can't destroy her from outside," she thought, "I'll get close to her and find out her secret." She started visiting Amara every day, helping her wash plates, fetching water, acting like a friend. At first, Amara was suspicious, but slowly she began to trust her. "You are very kind to help me," Amara said one afternoon. "We are both women trying to survive," Chidinma lied smoothly. "We should support each other." For 2 weeks, Chidinma watched everything. She watched how Amara prepared her ingredients, nothing unusual. She watched how Amara cooked, just normal cooking. She even checked Amara's small room when the girl went to the market. No charms, no strange bottles, no juju materials. The only odd thing was that Amara talked to herself while cooking. Her lips moved constantly, forming words Chidinma couldn't hear. "What are you saying?" Chidinma asked, trying to sound casual. Her hand froze on the spoon. For a long moment, she didn't answer. Then she said quietly, "I'm just remembering." "Remembering what?" "Someone who taught me to cook." And she said nothing more. Frustrated, Chidinma decided to spread a terrible lie. She went from house to house, whispering the same story. "I saw Amara with a man late at night. They went into the forest together. You know what that means? She's sleeping with married men. That's why their husbands love her food. She's bewitching them." The rumor spread like fire in dry grass. By evening, half the village was talking about it. The next morning, only 3 customers came to Amara's shack. Amara said nothing. She just cooked her food as usual. Her eyes sad, but not surprised, as if she'd expected this. By afternoon, the village square was full of women confronting their husbands. "Is it true? Are you going to that girl for more than food?" "Don't be foolish, woman. I only eat there." "Then why do you spend so much time there?" The arguments grew louder. Some men swore they would never eat at Amara's shack again, just to keep peace at home. Chidinma watched from her mother's store, smiling with satisfaction. But the next day, something impossible happened. A man from a neighboring village, someone who had never heard the rumors, came to eat Amara's food. After finishing his meal, he stood up and shouted, "People of Ogidi, I've eaten food from Lagos to Enugu, and I've never tasted anything like this. This girl is blessed. Anyone who doesn't eat her food is a fool." Then he bought 10 plates to take home to his family. His enthusiasm was infectious. Other strangers from different villages came, ate, and started praising Amara loudly. Slowly, the Ogidi villagers felt ashamed. How could they let strangers enjoy this treasure while they listened to gossip? By the end of that day, Amara had 3 times her usual customers. The line was so long that young boys volunteered to wash plates for free just so they could eat faster. Chidinma watched in horror as her plan completely backfired.
"I'll kill her," Chidinma said flatly. She was beyond reason now, consumed by jealousy and rage. Obiageli gasped. "You can't mean that." "Watch me." This time, Chidinma went to a more dangerous medicine man in a far village, someone who dealt in death. She paid him everything she had saved, and he gave her a small bottle. "Pour this in her water pot at night," he instructed. "By morning, she'll be dead. No one will know it was poison. They'll think her heart just stopped." That night, Chidinma waited until the whole village was asleep. She crept to Amara's shack, her heart pounding. The water pot sat outside, just as she knew it would be. She opened the bottle and lifted it to pour, and suddenly the bottle flew from her hand. It soared through the air and smashed against Chidinma's own chest, the liquid splashing all over her dress. Chidinma screamed and ran, her skin burning where the poison touched her. She ran all the way home, tore off her dress, and washed herself frantically in the darkness. But the next morning, strange marks on her skin appeared, angry red welts that looked like handprints, as if invisible hands had grabbed her and pushed her away.
Chidinma was terrified now. She went to the same medicine man who had given her the poison. "The charm returned to you," he said, his eyes wide with fear. "That girl, she's protected by something very powerful, something older than my medicine. You need to stop before you destroy yourself." But pride and jealousy had made Chidinma foolish. "Give me something stronger," she demanded. "No," the medicine man refused. "I won't touch this matter again. Go home, leave that girl alone." But it was too late. The marks on Chidinma's skin began to spread. Within 3 days, her beautiful face was covered in red welts. Her hands swelled. Her body ached like she'd been beaten. She couldn't hide it anymore. The whole village saw and started asking questions. In desperation, she went to Mama Ngozi, the oldest woman in the village, who knew about spiritual matters. "Please, Mama," she begged, crying, "help me. Something is wrong with me." Mama Ngozi looked at the marks and shook her head sadly. "These are not ordinary sores, my daughter. These are marks of punishment. What have you done?" And finally, broken and terrified, Chidinma confessed everything. The poison in the food, the false rumors, the attempt to kill Amara. Mama Ngozi's face became stern. "You tried to kill an innocent girl out of jealousy? Do you know what you've brought upon yourself?" "Please, Mama, I'm sorry. Make it stop." "I can't make it stop. Only one person can." Mama Ngozi stood up. "Come with me." They went to Amara's shack. It was early morning and Amara was preparing her pots as usual. When she saw Chidinma's condition, her eyes filled with sadness, not satisfaction. Chidinma fell to her knees in the dirt. "Please forgive me. I tried to destroy you. I tried to kill you. I'm so sorry. Please make this stop." Amara was quiet for a long time. Then she knelt down and took Chidinma's swollen hands in hers. "I forgive you," she said softly. And immediately, like magic, the marks on Chidinma's skin began to fade. Within minutes, they were completely gone. Chidinma stared at her clear skin in shock, then looked up at Amara. Who are you?" Amara helped Chidinma to her feet and offered her water. For the first time since coming to the village, she decided to tell her story. "My name is Amara, and I'm from a village very far from here," she began. 3 years ago, my mother died from a terrible illness. Before she died, she called me to her bedside and gave me something. Amara reached into her wrapper and pulled out a small worn leather pouch that hung around her neck. "My mother said, 'This is soil from your grandmother's grave, and her grandmother's grave, and many grandmothers before. Every woman in our family who cooked with love is in this soil. When you cook, take a pinch and add it to your pot. Talk to them. Tell them who you're feeding. They will bless the food.'" She opened the pouch slightly, and Chidinma saw dark, rich soil inside. "Every morning, before I cook, I take a tiny pinch and add it to my pot, and I talk to my mothers, all of them. I tell them about the hungry people in this village. I ask them to bless the food so it will nourish bodies and bring joy. That's the secret. That's all it's ever been." Amara's eyes filled with tears. "My mother told me this gift comes with protection because feeding people with love is sacred work. That's why your charms couldn't harm me. That's why the poison returned to you. The mothers were protecting me." Chidinma began to cry. "I was so foolish, so wicked. I almost killed you because of jealousy." "Jealousy makes us blind," Amara said gently. "But you asked for forgiveness, and I gave it. Now you must forgive yourself and choose a better path." That same day, Chidinma packed her belongings and left Ogidi village. Some said she went to the city to start afresh. Others said she went to a monastery to seek spiritual cleansing. But everyone agreed on one thing. She was a different person when she left, humbled and changed. Amara continued cooking in her small shack, and her business grew even more. People came from farther and farther away, drawn by food that tasted like love itself. Eventually, the villagers built her a proper restaurant, not because she asked, but because they wanted to honor her. Young girls came to learn cooking from her, and she taught them not just recipes, but the importance of cooking with intention and love. Food is not just about filling stomachs, it's about nourishing souls. When you cook, you are not just mixing ingredients, you are mixing your spirit with what you create. That's why some food tastes like sadness, some taste like anger, and some, she smiled, some taste like all the love of all the mothers who came before us. And every morning, before the sun rose, Amara would stand over her pots, take a tiny pinch of sacred soil from the leather pouch around her neck, and whisper to her grandmothers, "Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for teaching me. Now help me feed these people well." And the smoke would rise from her pots like prayers ascending to heaven, carrying the aroma of food blessed by generations of love. In the end, what we create with love cannot be destroyed by hate, and those who plant evil will harvest their own bitter fruit. The end.